sop these up. We'll be able to take a look and see. The bottom just needs to basically be at the bottom. So by me adding an 1/8 all the way around, it gives me a 1/4 inch technically on the top that I could cut off. So I'm going to line this pattern up with just a little bit over the top and back edge so that I can freehand that cut, what I mean to say. You see these big fingers, so you want to make sure before you make your cut that it's flat along your edges before you make that cut, so that it's going to lay in the car or on the window the way it's supposed to. So you sometimes got to pick the film up to grab these top fingers and really work that around. So now we're set up to cut it. Oh, that already feels better. Gotta have a sharp blade. Much better. Good deal. So here, we're just going to slowly take bits off to make a nice matching back area. Take this and round it back off. Perfect. So now we can set this up for shrinking. So, like I said, I like to shrink everything to the bottom. So we're going to overlap the top edge, bring the back edge close, but up, well, in that case. And then we're going to roll all this back again to the bottom within reason. Don't have to get crazy. So now we got all this down here that needs to be shrunk. So I'll show you how I do that. So same thing, I'm gonna overlap the top and front, get the back to lock down, come up high enough that we can shrink underneath, and try to split it evenly. And the way that I lock it down is the same way, the way that I lock it down to make the top cut is the same way I lock it down for the shrink, just to keep everything lined up. And you can see that when you line up your back and then you hammer it back down, it should fall in a nice even area. So I pocket shrink, large fingers. I warm up the bottom and I wait for this bottom to start collapsing. When it does and it tightens up, it traps all that hot air and I can just take it right to the top. Same on this one, collapse the bottom. This one's a little bit larger, so I might try to see if I can't push some to that side. Chase it. And just polish this off. So they look pretty intimidating, but they're really not. Managing your heat, staying away from them, don't burn the bottom, and try to use that pocket shrink method to collapse the bottom and trap that hot air inside the finger so that you can just shrink it up and out. And collapse that bottom, chase it toward the top, and then just kind of feather it down. And do the same. I'm going to try to move this one over just a bit. There we go. When you have a lot of water underneath it, sometimes it's harder to get it to collapse on the bottom. But just keep kind of mashing it down and work with it. and it will collapse. So this one's collapsing straight to the top. I have a little bit of a burn right here because that had water under it, but I'm not concerned with that. It's just an edge. So we'll take that off. We won't put any more heat to it, so I'll show you how we fix that. So I burned it right there. Not a big deal. So I like to go back just a little bit further so that I can cut into the bottom, and then I'm just only removing that little burnt edge. That's it. That's all it needs to go. So 32nd of an inch, little sliver. So there's our shrunk pattern ready to install. Put that there. Give it a scrub. Top edge, back edge. Top edge, a scrub with the towel. And the back edge, just like that. Just take this from the front to the back. Take our hard card, our corners, I forget there's only a bottom seal. Come across the bottom. Now we're going to spray it. Spray the air. Hopefully it doesn't get on the GoPro. Open the back bottom gasket just a little bit. Don't push too hard. We'll spray above the glass. You really want to soak it so that it's slippery. Get the front corner tucked down. Start lining up your back and top. Sometimes you run your card along the bottom to get it to start tucking, which can sometimes be the hardest part of this window. We just work it slow, piece at a time, little inches at a time, and the next thing you know, eventually it'll be under the gasket. Your only job left is to line up your edges. So we're going to try for an extremely nice micro edge. Now the biggest trick to these is because you shrunk the bottom is you don't want trailing bubbles to come back in. So you want to start to tack it down, and then you kind of want to go down and start pushing all this forward, essentially stretching the film. Stretch this across because you don't want trailing drying bubbles pushing back in. If you're pushing with your squeegee toward the back, remember, don't come off of it and hit it with the hard part of your squeegee and screw up the film. So we want a good squeegee down on this film, because remember, this drops below the seal. This rubs in here when it is opened and closed. So get a good hard squeegee on it. Let's get that tucked area really well. Really well. Good. Grab this front, easily make my way to the car. Get comfortable first before you lay the film so that you're comfortable when you lay the film. So let's get it to the glass. The biggest thing is getting it on the glass so that the glass can assist you in holding it. We're way far forward. We'll bring that back. So I'm going to kind of start here and just really push on the glass. Not enough to break it, but enough to get that moisture out. Excellent. Throw just a little bit of heat along the bottom, just to warm it up. We grab the inner handle, drop it, make sure it's dropped. Had one time that popped back up. Looks good. Now we fully close the door. Ooh-wee, look at that. voila, there it is.